This is another Thirsty for Knowledge Thursdays, brought to you by the Ares Foundation for Financial Education, Inc. Tonight we're going to be talking about spending less, saving more, how to be better with your money in 2021, and get yourself off the hamster wheel of debt. You can't save until you know what you are spending. The same is you can't spend until you know what you're saving. You really have to be aware how much money is going out before you can actually begin to plan to save. There's really three different types of budget personalities out there. Number one, let's refer to them as like the engineer. They know everything. They've got a spreadsheet, they've got apps, they know what's going out, they know what they're being spent on. Number three, I'm going to call them a hippie. There's really no worries or cares. Money comes in, money goes out, and it is what it is, basically. And then personality number two is probably the most dangerous of them all, because personality number two thinks they're a one, but they're really a three. So the first thing is understand that any budget is an ongoing process. Too often people are, I'm just putting everything down and then walking away from it. But you can't just then walk away and pretend like, oh, okay, I put it all down. You got to understand that it's going to morph over time. First thing you got to know is the income. What do you got coming in? If you're in a situation where you're getting paid by an employer on a regular basis, you're getting a paycheck, whether it's every week or every other week, fairly easy for you to know what you've got coming in. Some might be a little bit more variable. If you got a side hustle, if you get paid hourly and the hours change, if you're paid by commission, you can go back and take 3 or 4 months, average them out, and then use that as your monthly, just so you know what's coming in. Because the next one is, you've got to start looking at what's going out. And this is where we're talking about knowing what you're spending. And the first thing you need to be putting together are those must-pay expenses. Next one comes in is pay yourself first. You've got the line items that you've got to deal with, the rent, the utility, that type of thing, insurance. But then you want to include you. So as you're building your budget out, again, thinking this is almost layering the budget. The first items that you're dealing with, those must-pay expenses, the next ones are you. And whether that's you as money going into savings, money going into retirement, whatever that case may be, you're next. And then we get to those discretionary expenses, the fun.
One other thing I like to say is that money is not math, money is emotion. And so sometimes it's really putting these numbers down so you can get a real understanding of what really is, a static or variable cost and what is discretionary.
Money is emotion. So this is emotional change that you're trying to make. So we want to talk about little steps to big results. The first one we talk about is trying to change some habit. Well, the habit we have is plastic. They're credit cards, they're debit cards. And it's very easy to get caught up in spending when we can just take the piece of plastic out and spend it. So not that it's, hey, you want to get rid of these things, but maybe 1 or 2 days a week, just don't have them. Only use cash to spend. You won't be able to spend more than the cash in your pocket on that particular day or days, and it's one way to limit what you're spending. Setting that bigger goal, it gives us the pathway, what I'm trying to achieve by making these changes, by not doing this, by only spending this amount. I've got this goal that's over here that I'm trying to get to. This shop with a list, and this is grocery store but some other stores, Target and other places like that, which is you're just going in, here's the 5 items I need to get. I'm going in with the 5 items and I'm walking out with the 5 items. Try to shop without a cart. Once you go through, if you've got the list or you've got what was in your head, take a second and just step aside and say, is this really the stuff that I needed?
Always look at unit price instead of the sales price.
We're talking about a cooling off period. It's a longer base, we're talking about a day. This is for a larger purchase. This is for the purchase when you're talking about buying, shoes or a phone. Take a day. Does it really still hold the same allure for me the next day that it did today?
You need to avoid impulse shopping.
Yes, exactly. And that steps us right into wants versus needs. But it's that idea of, can I delay gratification today to benefit me in the long term? Recording what you're spending. But when I say recording what you're spending, I mean tracking what you're spending. Now, there's apps out there, there's spreadsheets. My personal belief is that pen and paper is the way to go with this, because there's something just permanent or concrete in the brain when you write pen to paper. Budget for savings. There's really 3 buckets when we talk about this with what you're saving for. That first bucket, that's emergency reserves. Today, now, where we are at this point in the universe, you want to have 6 to 8 weeks of expenses in the bank. Bucket number 2 would be midterm, whether it's a vacation, whether it's buying a car or a new home, that type of thing. That's the next bucket that you're filling in. And then your third bucket becomes the longer term savings. You have a young child, it might be an education account. It's your own, it's a retirement account, something that's out into the future, 15, 20 years away to get filled. Reduce your spending. Don't sweat the nickels and dimes. Try to find those line items that when you go through and dissect all of your numbers, that you can pretty much take out, you're really not using right now, or that you could live without and it's not really going to affect your lifestyle all that much.
Have questions? Ask us. We can help with that. You can email Craig at crichardson@aresfoundation.org, or you can visit the website to learn more about what we do and how we might be able to help you. www.aresfoundation.org. Want to see more of this recording? Go to www.aresfoundation.org/events. If you know an organization or community support group that could benefit from one of our workshops, reach out to Tom T. Alessi at aresfoundation.org. Our mission is trying to help everyone have a better relationship with their money.